So in this day in history, we have a special release to talk about. 15 years ago, a special Transformer toy that came out this month. I don't want to say a specific like a this day in history because, it really depended on, shipping days and stuff. But in this month, 15 years ago, a very important Transformer toy came out, and it was a monumental release, something that we've been, at that time, 15 years ago, we were waiting for it to come out. Oh my goodness, when is this coming? So in the Armada toy line, it was teased. It was making us wonder, what is it going to be? What is this character? And we didn't know, what was the plans and stuff. And then there was a single episode of the Armada cartoon that showed us what looked like a horned, spherical character that is coming to Earth, that is hiding. And that was that of Unicron. And so we finally got our very first transforming Unicron toy in mass release. Now, granted, yes, Hasbro tried to make a Unicron toy. It didn't get released. It was kind of ugly. It was pretty big, but it was kind of ugly. Takara tried to take that mold and mess with it a bit and try to do something else. They made their own version. It was like a greenish yellow version. That didn't get released. It had a little satellite gimmick kind of thing with like a moon. Then there was an attempt to make a Unicron toy for Transformers Beast Wars Neo. Again, got to the prototype stage. Nothing came of it. Kind of was like bad luck. All these Unicron prototypes that just never came to be. And then we kind of got our first ever piece of Unicron anything in terms of merchandising, which was we had a BotCon statue, which was through the company Hard Heroes at the time. Hard Heroes was making statues of Transformers based off of their old Generation 1 animation models. And so they did this massive, nice, humongous, I think it was 2.5 feet tall Unicron statue standing on the surface of Cybertron. And it looked great. I remember seeing that thing in person at a comic store, and I was like, wow, I wish I could own that. And when I saw it at the time, there was no such thing as a Unicron toy yet from Armada. The Armada Unicron toy got released, and it was a big deal. Up to that point, we had Transformer toys that had articulated fingers, and up to that point, we had Transformer toys that were kind of in that supreme scale. Prior to that, we had the Optimus Primal from Beast Machines, which was released through Robots in Disguise, that could, give you the middle finger, and it had voice and sound. And, of course, we had the Supreme Cheetor from Beast Machines. So up to that point, we had big toys like that in the modern era before, say, that of Fortress, after that of, say, Fortress Maximus and Scorponok. But he was really the return to that scale. And so Unicron came out. He was amazing. He transformed beautifully. It wasn't completely, accurate to that of the Generation 1 86 movie. It was obviously designed to look like how he did in Armada, but it was a great toy. It came with the little planet called Dead End, which was a nice little name, even though the name was just pretty much, okay, we got to use some trademarks. Oh, we got that. We got that Porsche, Menasor piece. Let's just, but it's a dead planet, so they called it Dead End. So that's pretty cool as a little Minicon partner. Great toy. And then it just opened the floodgates to when they started the Energon toy line. Hey, now we got this supreme price point. It looks like people are willing to spend money on this price point. So they did a black repaint of that Unicron, which correlated to what was going on in the cartoon at the time. They did the Omega Supreme Supreme toy, and then of course the Omega Sentinel with that, and then that also then would lead into Primus when we would get the Primus toy, and of course
great toy, by the way,
great, amazing toy, and the King Starscream. So all pretty much Armada to Cybertron, a whole bunch of Supreme toys that all pretty much started because of Unicron. And we were not expecting Unicron when Armada first started. It wasn't something that was teased or this was going to be the centerpiece of the line. But very important release because up to that point, not much of Unicron. Of course, today, in retrospective, we got tons of Unicron toys now. We got all kinds, big, small, little titaniums, transforming ones that turn into mountains from Transformers Prime, or looks like a volcano or something.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of Unicron toys now, little PVCs and everything. But back then, that was a big deal. And not only was it a big deal, it wasn't like, oh, we got this and that, and then we got our big transforming Unicron toy. No, we started with a big transforming Unicron toy. And for the longest time, it was just the centerpiece of a lot of people's collections. And still to this day, I know a lot of people that kind of stopped collecting Transformers in the modern era, but they got that Unicron because that was a big deal when that came out. And I want to give a little shout out to the Lucas brothers at Unicron.com, because back in the day, they're very important people within the Transformers fandom. I like to say that I was very happy to meet the Lucas brothers as fans of not of their work, but of their collection, because they were some of the inspirations behind how I built my Transformer room, because they were guys, they had Unicron.com, and they had this like in their About Me section of their website, they had this like picture of their Transformer collection. And this was back in the day when you could fill every Transformer ever made into like like one cabinet pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they had this gorgeous display. They showed like, oh, hey, like, we have all our Transformer collection in this closet. And then we like put glass cases around it and like put lights and sound. Like it just looked gorgeous. And it inspired me to like make my crazy displays that I have today. So when I met them, I also thanked them, because back in the day I ordered from their website. When Unicron came out, they made these custom stands, so you could have your Unicron toy in alt mode and look like he did. Because the problem with the one major flaw with the Unicron toy from Armada, and it's a flaw with the mold overall because it's been repainted so many times since then, is that you can't really have it posed in that classic like eating a planet upright kind of thing.
Okay.
It kind of has to like lie on its back pretty much. So they made a stand where it could sit in your display with the rings and everything, and look like it's coming right at you to eat a planet or something, to eat eat Linthos or something. So it was really nice. And even the stand itself, the base of it has a clear sculpted Unicron in alt mode on the base too, so it looks really nice. And I bought that. I forget what I bought. I think it was like $10 back then, and those were some of the first third-party products when you think about it, 'cause that was in 2003, I want to say. So big shout out to them, because they made a gorgeous stand. I wonder if they still sell that stand. You probably have to bug them. I think it's Unicron_news on Twitter, or you can just go to Unicron.com. But they made some awesome stuff. So just a shout out to them too. But yeah, very important this month, 15 years ago.
I was going to ask real quick, which reissue of Unicron would you say is probably the definitive one to get right now until they make a newer one or down the line?
So as of this recording, if you wanted to get your definitive Unicron toy, it would have to be, I don't know what they officially call it. It was at one point, it was called like the Amazon exclusive Unicron, which was that original Armada mold. It got retooled and repainted in Japan in 2010, and they gave it a more 1986 movie accurate face instead of it, because the head sculpt, obviously the original head sculpt for the Armada one looks like how he looked in Armada, so they resculpted the head and made it look a lot more how the Orson Welles Unicron looked. And they retooled here and there, trying to phase out all the little Armada looking details. But the colors weren't just right. And with that 2010 release, it was a lot more oranges and stuff like that. Then there was an American release, and I believe it was done through Amazon, and I know a whole bunch of them then showed up in Toys R Us. And this was, I want to say 2013, 2012, and that's the definitive version. And I don't know how much it goes for now, but it is without a doubt the definitive version of Unicron right now. It's not perfect. It's still not like super movie accurate, but it's still based and grounded in that old Armada mold. But it's probably the best version that you could pick up at the moment. There's been a lot of other repaints and retools since then, but all of them don't hit the mark like this one does. And I believe it was called the Amazon exclusive Unicron or Toys R Us exclusive Unicron. It was the Supreme scale, but that's the one I would get. And it has more of the blues and the like the blue. I don't want to say blue, but the more like it just has that tinge of teal that just kind of matches how it looked in the movie. It just matches it very well, and it looks really good. The only other Unicron I would suggest just for fun is the Energon one, the black repaint. What's fun about it is the planet that he comes with, Dead End. In this case, he was repainted to look like planet Earth. So he has like light blues and greens. So like if you want to have like a Unicron holding a transforming planet Earth, if you will, that's a really cool one. And it was just done for fun. It wasn't anything related to fiction. It was just like, hey, we got to repaint the Dead End that comes with Unicron. What should we do? Yeah. And actually, a funny piece of trivia with that. I think it was Aaron Archer said this when they first were trying to think of what to name the planet. They were thinking of calling it Gobatron at first, and they couldn't do that in the end because there's like, oh, we don't have the trademark for it. But either way, pretty cool. Definitely, if you don't own a Unicron toy, pick one up. I don't know in the future if we're gonna get something crazy with Unicron, but again,
wasn't the last thing we got the see-through green one?
Oh yeah, well that's coming. That's not out yet. That's gonna. That's one too that I probably should have mentioned. Thank you. There was also, like, again, when that Armada Unicron came out, there was a lucky draw super rare clear green one, which was what it's supposed to represent is all the minicons, their souls went together, their sparks, and make like a complete clone of Unicron to fight against him, fight against him from destroying Cybertron. And so they were like, oh, we'll make a lucky draw clear repaint, and that saw like super limited release, and I've seen one in person at Azusa's table, and it's like, oh my god. So now that's going to be mass released, that one. That's I don't think that's out yet, but that's going to be coming out soon. And so that's another way to get it if you want to get a clear green one, but it's not exactly movie accurate. It's more if you're a big Armada / Micron Detsetsu fan. But yeah, hey, Unicron, 15 years and still an incredible toy.